How's it going, everybody? Doing a filling out NCAA men's March Madness tournament bracket video today. I got this. I printed this one off of CBS Sports. I barely know anything about. I know a lot of these teams, but I don't know who the players are and stuff. So I'm just kind of filling it out, and we'll see how good or bad it ends up. But the one seeds are Auburn, Florida, Houston, and Duke. I'm pretty sure all four of those would have won their conference titles. Houston definitely did. Duke definitely did. Because their main guy, was Cooper Flagg, was out. I guess Florida won theirs. Yeah, Florida won the SEC, and Michigan won the Big Ten. St. John's won the Big East. They've been the best they've been in a while. Because I think it said it was their first Big East championship since 2000. I know the Big East has lost some teams over the years, right? Maybe a few of them left the Big East to go. I guess maybe the SEC or maybe the ACC. I don't know. But anyway, you do have these little playing games or whatever they are. They've been doing for a while. So, and I believe this is going on. I'm filming this Tuesday. This is going on Wednesday. So these four games, I think it's the four of them down here, would have been decided at this point. So you got Alabama State versus St. Francis in the South. You've got American versus Mount St. Mary's in the East. I apologize for that loud truck. San Diego State versus North Carolina in the South. That's weird. That's a screw up. Where is that one? Alright, so Texas Xavier is in the Midwest. The East is that one. San Diego State and North Carolina. Where is it? Oh, they're up here. That's weird. Oh, so they only do them in two of them. Okay. Alright, I thought they screwed something up. I apologize for this in the beginning here. I thought they screwed something up. But there's two that are in the South. The 11 and the 16 are both in the South. This 11's in the Midwest. And this one's in the East. There's none in the West itself, according to this bracket. Okay. I'm not going to run down every team here, but I'll start with these. So the first one, we got Alabama State versus St. Francis. I am just going to pick. I'm going to go I'm going to say St. Francis gets it. I'll just circle them. I'm not going to write that in next to the thing. American versus Mount St. Mary's. We're going to say American. I knew someone who went to that school. I want to say that school. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that school's in D.C. San Diego State versus North Carolina. That is also here. I know North Carolina was I think the last team that got picked, to get in. I'm going to say they win it. Texas and Xavier. Go Xavier. Alright. No by tomorrow. That went down poorly. Because it got here, the rounds here, March 20. to see who gets those seeds, I think, is tonight. I'm going to say Auburn beats St. Francis. Get ready to see some terrible handwriting. I'm going to kind of bounce from side to side, I guess. I'll go down each one. That's the one in the 16. I'm going to say Duke wins theirs on this side in the East. I'm not going to give any. Houston beats SIUE. I don't know what that is. And I'm going to say Florida beats Norfolk State. No upsets from a 16. I know that has happened, right? I know the 15s have upset the 2s, a couple of times. I feel like in the past, we'll say since, I don't know, 2010. All right. Louisville, Creighton. Louisville's the 8, Creighton's the 9. Creighton lost to, I believe, St. John's in the Big East Championship. Like I said, I don't know enough about these teams outside of, I think Duke was overall the number 1 overall. So, let's see, we're going to say Creighton. Beats Louisville. I will also quickly X out some of these. What do we got here? Mississippi State versus Baylor in the East. I'm going to go another 9. I don't necessarily say these are massive upsets by any stretch. Baylor wins. UConn versus Oklahoma. UConn won it. Didn't UConn win it 2 years in a row? Are they back-to-back defending champs? They're in there. I'm going to say they beat Oklahoma here. In the West. And in the Midwest, we've got Gonzaga versus Georgia. Gonzaga, I feel, is usually, and same thing with UConn, is usually a bit higher ranked, so I guess they did not have great years, but I'm going to give Gonzaga. The win there. We got Michigan, winners of did I say the Big 12 or the Big 10? I don't know. I'm going to say they beat UC San Diego. I'm just going to go down. It's going to be easy for me to just go down the side here instead of going back over and over. All right, so we're going to stay in the South. Texas A&M, number 4 versus 13 Yale. I think Yale, I was just looking on ESPN, won their conference. I guess that's the Ivy League conference. But I'm going to say Texas A&M takes it. Old Miss versus UNC. I'm going to say UNC gets the win. There's a little bit of an upset. They won't even beat San Diego State now. I'll tell you that much. If you're fans of any of these teams, listen, I'm just picking, and I don't want to pick the higher seed every time because it never works out that way, right? Number 3, Iowa State versus number 14, Lipscomb. I'm going to say Iowa State takes it. So I got a loud plane taking off today. They're usually not that loud. Got a little bit of a bigger plane in the airport today. Number 7, Marquette versus number 10, New Mexico. I'm going to give Marquette the win. And now we got, finishing up this South here, first round. Michigan State, number 2 versus Bryant, number 15. I'm saying Michigan State takes it. I don't know what that was. My handwriting's not good. All right, now we're in the West. I already did Florida and UConn advancing. So we've got Number 5, Memphis versus number 12, Colorado State. Alright, I'm going to do an upset here. I'm going to say Colorado State takes it. Number 4, Maryland versus number 13, the Grand Canyon. I'm going to say Maryland. See, the thing is, I don't know enough, and if I was looking at things on ESPN and players, this would be a 500-year video, and I don't want to do that. Missouri number 6 versus number 11, Drake's Cakes. Missouri wins it. Number 3, Texas Tech versus number 14, UNC. I don't know. I don't know where that is. I would assume it's in North Carolina, but I don't know what part of the state. It was in the western part somewhere. I'm going to say Texas Tech. Number 7, Kansas versus number 10, Arkansas. Kansas is usually higher too, huh? I'm going to say Kansas. Who was the coach they had that then went on to UNC and finally won some titles? He couldn't win the big one with Kansas, then he won it with North Carolina. I can picture his face. I can't remember his name, though. I need to look that up real quick. Tom Izzo's the one at Michigan State, right? Is he still going? I thought I saw something about him. Old Kansas basketball coach. Oh, that's his name. Oh, I see his face. They're not showing me his freaking... They're not showing me his name. Roy Williams, that's who it was. Alright. Number 2, St. John's versus number 15, Omaha, to close out the first round of the West. I'm giving it to St. John's. They have, It's not John Calipari. I think he used to coach UMass back when I was in high school. It's, the other guy who used to coach Kentucky, I believe, and I can't remember his name now either. And I should be able to know his name. It's not John Calipari. Is it Rick? Rick something? Rick Pitino. I was gonna literally call him Rick Totino. Isn't that like that microwave a little pizza thing? Anyway, on to the East. Did Duke, Baylor advancing. We've got number 5, Oregon versus number 12, Liberty. I'm going to say Oregon moves on. Number 4, Arizona versus number 13, Akron. I assume that's Akron, Ohio. I'm going to say Arizona takes it. Number 6, BYU. This is the East now. Versus number 11, VCU. I don't know. BYU. Brigham Young. Number 3, Wisconsin versus number 14, Montana. Wisconsin takes it. Number 7, St. Mary's versus number 10, Vanderbilt. I'm going to say Vanderbilt. And then finishing up this one, number 2, Alabama versus number 15, Robert Morris. I spelled that wrong. Oh my God. Forgot the A there. Alabama. The famous Alabama University. Oh my God. Down to the Midwest. We already got Houston and Gonzaga. Going past Clemson. I'm not seeing any Wake Forest in here. I used to like Wake Forest and like Georgia Tech. Wake Forest, just because it sounded like a cool name. I think Tim Duncan went there, right? They were better back in the day. Number 5, Clemson versus number 12, McNeese. Clemson takes it. Purdue versus High Point. I wonder if that's High Point here in North Carolina. That's like a half hour away. Should I give them a big upset? I'm going to do it. High Point wins. They're going to get beat by 50. High Point beats Purdue. Purdue, not Purdue chicken. Yeah, I wonder if that's High Point in North Carolina. High Point. Yep. Nice. Carolina's got a lot of, even the teams that don't make it, but you have a bunch of known places. I don't know if they still are. A lot of the times they play one of the rounds in Greensboro, which is also right, like slightly above High Point at the Greensboro Coliseum. Maybe one time, maybe one year if they do that. Go to watch one of these games if I can. All right, Illinois versus number 6 Illinois versus who did I say? Xavier. I'm gonna say Illinois takes it. Number 3 Kentucky versus number 14 Troy. 7 UCLA versus 10 Utah State. I'm gonna say Utah State wins. Not many upsets here. 7 and 10 is not a massive upset. I feel like you gotta get 6-11 to start to get decent upsets. And we'll end the Midwest with number 2 Tennessee versus number 15 Wolford Brimley. Tennessee takes it. Alright, so that's the first round done. Start up here for the Sweet 16. The second round. So we got Auburn versus Creighton. 1 versus 9. I'm going to say Auburn moves to the Sweet 16. Michigan versus Texas A&M. I'm going to say number 5 Michigan moves on to the Sweet 16. UNC versus Iowa State. Let's see, USC gets put in as that last one. And they beat Iowa State to go to the Sweet 16. Incredible. This is where the bracket falls apart completely. You got number 7 Marquette versus number 2 Michigan State. Michigan State moves on. Florida versus UConn. They beat them, ending the reign of UConn. Colorado State, number 12, versus Maryland, number 4. Maryland moves on. Number 6, Mizzou versus Texas Tech. I'm going to say Missouri moves on. Slight upset. And then Kansas, number 7 versus number 2, St. John's. I'm going to say St. John's. Moves on to the Sweet 16. So Sweet 16 is ready to go in the South and the West. Now on to the East. Duke versus Baylor. Duke moves on. Oregon, number 5 versus number 4, Arizona. Arizona gets into the Sweet 16. Now BYU versus Wisconsin. No. Wisconsin takes it. Alabama versus Vanderbilt. Alabama takes it. That time, I give it the other A. It's now Alabama again. Houston versus Gonzaga. Houston, Clyde Drexler's old alma mater. And Hakeem Olajuwon's. They did lose the, I'm pretty sure they're the ones that lost the famous, the guy had the foundation. He died, I guess, of cancer. I forget his name. But he was the coach of that team. It was like a massive upset in the finals, I think. Or maybe it was the Final Four. It might not have been the final game. It might have been the Final Four, not the national championship. Jim Valvino? Is that his name, or am I screwing that up? I don't know. I'm sure he was the coach of that team. It was a massive upset. Alright, anyway. Clemson number 5 versus screw it, High Point. Beats Clemson to move to the Sweet 16. I've always been a fan of High Point. We're in the Midwest, by the way. Kentucky's going to take Illinois. And we'll say Tennessee takes Utah State. Alright, Sweet 16 locked in. Here we go. Now we're getting crazy. I shouldn't X them out as I go, because then it's screwing up my thing if I want. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll put circles around the winner when I do it myself. Maybe I'll stop doing that now. Auburn versus Michigan, number 1 versus number 5. Auburn takes it to move to the Elite 8. UNC's luck runs out in the Sweet 16. Michigan State moves to the Elite 8. Florida versus Maryland, 1 versus 4. I'm going with the high seeds here. I'm going to say Florida. And I'm going to say St. John's takes out Missouri to get to the Elite 8. So we got 1-2, 1-2. Those are where my upsets stop. Duke, Arizona in the East. I'm going to say Duke moves on. I'm going to give Wisconsin the win, though, over Alabama. So we got a 3 in there. Houston versus High Point. It comes to an end for High Point. Houston wins it. Here comes the helicopter. Kentucky versus Tennessee. I'm going to give another 3 the nod here. So our Elite 8 is a bunch of high seeds. This is where it goes from a bunch of, whoa, some crazy, and this isn't going to be correct regardless. It never is for me, but there'll be like a 6 or a 7 floating around in here. All right, the Elite 8, Michigan State takes out Auburn to make the Final Four. And St. John's, another number 2, takes out Florida. So we got 2 versus 2 in the Final Four on the western side of the bracket. In the East, Duke versus Wisconsin. Screw it. I don't know why I X'd them out. Wisconsin with the big upset, even though they're number 3. They beat Duke to go to the Final Four. And Houston beats Kentucky. This is all for fun. Alright. My Final Four. Michigan State, St. John's, Wisconsin versus Houston. I think St. John's takes it versus Michigan State. And then Houston takes it versus Wisconsin. So we got St. John's versus Houston. National championship. St. John's wins it. Incredible. They're going nuts in New York City. They're the national champs. What? Like I said, I'm going to get 35, 40. What do you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 16, 32. Yeah, I'm gonna get a ton more. But anyway, I got St. John's winning it in this bracket. I might fill some out on CBS or ESPN or something. Probably not, but who knows. But yeah, this is just me filling out the men's bracket. When's the women's tournament start? Does this start a little later than the men's? So say maybe do a women's one too. Probably not though. But anyway, St. John's National Championship. You saw it here. Make your bets on this and lose your money. But yeah, just filling out this bracket here today, and thanks everybody for checking this out.